Hi everyone, and today in this video we are going to discuss about a company which is in the pre-engineered building segment, and the company name is Interarch. So there are a lot of interesting data points and tailwinds in this segment which we will understand. And just a quick disclaimer that it's not a buy or sell recommendation. So let's start with the report. So Interarch is currently operating in the B2B segment where they offer design, manufacturing and turnkey construction services to corporate, industrial and institutional clients. And along with that, they also provide customized fabricated steel buildings which are very quick to install and are very cost efficient. And these pre-engineered buildings are used in multiple sectors like the warehouse and logistic, then automotive manufacturing, then aviation and metro rail, industrial, and also there are some growing industries like data center. Now let's look at their shareholding pattern. So currently promoter is holding almost 60%, then FIs are 5.6%, then DIS are almost 7%, and within DIS there is Mirai Asset Multicap Fund which is holding 1.4% stake in the company, and the other fund is Carnelian. So Carnelian is a PMS which is handled by Vikas Khemani, and it is also one of the very good PMS in India which is giving consistent 25% CAGR, and they also have a 1.3% stake in Interarch. So this is definitely a good PMS to track in the coming future. And lastly, the public holding is 27.4%. Now over here, let's take a look at the history of Interarch. So during FY10 till FY 2013, both the industry and company saw good tailwinds in the industry, and during that time, they grew at 20% CAGR. Then during FY12 till FY16, there was a slowdown in macroeconomy, and because of this reason, we can see the company grew at only 3% CAGR. Then during FY16, even after demonetization and after the introduction of GST, the Interarch managed to maintain its growth trajectory, and they gave a CAGR growth of 4%. And now currently post-COVID, we can see increase in adoption of PEB, and because of this reason, from FY21 till FY25, they grew at a CAGR of 36%. So this data point suggests us that we are going to see huge growth in the coming future. And now let's come to the next segment and we will see the industry overview. So there are three sectors where pre-engineered buildings are used: the industrial, infra and the building segment. So as we can see over here that during FY24, the industrial segment consisted of 55%, which was 66% in 2019, but it's expected that the ratio which is in FY24 is almost going to be the same in FY29. And the reason why we are reading about Interarch and the pre-engineered building segment is because it is built 40 to 50% faster compared to traditional methods. Then afterwards, currently the PEB market is valued at 15,000 crores in 2024, and that is expected to reach 47,000 crores by FY 2033, and that is a CAGR growth of 12.5%. And they are currently the second largest player in this segment. And currently in the pre-engineered building segment, the unorganized market share is still around 55 to 60%, which is expected to come down to 40% in the coming future. And now let's come to the next part, which is the revenue segment. So currently there are three revenue segments. The first one is the industrial, and within that they have a revenue of 1120 crores in FY25, and that number is expected to be almost 2000 crores by FY28. Then the next revenue segment is the infra construction, and within that they had a revenue of 305 crores, and that number is expected to be 400 crores by FY28. And the last revenue segment is the other part. For example, we can say data center, and within that they had a revenue of 30 crores, and that number is expected to be 60 crores by FY28. And now let's come to the next segment, which is the financial analysis. So in FY25, they had a revenue of 1450 crores, and in FY28, that number is expected to be almost 2400 crores. So over here we can see a YOY growth of 21% in FY26, 18% in FY27, and almost 16% in FY28. And even if we take a look at their EBITDA, which was 136 crore in FY25, that number is expected to be 269 crores in FY28, and currently they have EBITDA margin of 9.4%, which will be almost 11% in the next 3 years. And lastly, if we look at their net profit, which was 108 crores in FY25, that number is expected to be almost 205 crores in FY28, and the net profit margins are going to be more than 8% in the coming future. Even if we take a look at their EPS, which is currently 68.5, that is expected to be almost 123 in FY28. So we can say this is definitely a growth of 80% in the EPS. And one of the interesting point of Interarch is their EV by EBITDA, which is currently 24, and their forward EV by EBITDA is almost 12 as of FY28. Even if we look at their cash flow from operations, which is currently 53 crores, that number is expected to be almost 150 crores by FY28, which is a very good sign in this industry. And now let's come to the next segment and we will do the peer comparison. So let's compare Interarch with Pennar Industries, and there is also another company called MNB Engineering, but as of now I thought it's best to compare Interarch with Pennar Industries. So both the companies have almost the same market cap of 3,500 crores, and if you look at ROC, so Interarch ROC is 24.8%, which is way high compared to the Pennar 16%. Even if you look at ROE, Interarch is 18%, whereas for Pennar it's only 12.7%. Next, if you look at CFO by EBITDA, so Pennar is a winner over here as they have 79%. Then next, in the debt to equity ratio, again Interarch is a winner over here. And if you look at PEG ratio, so Interarch is having 0.36, which is way lower and way good compared to the Pennar. And lastly, if you compare their PE valuations, so currently Interarch is having 30 PE, whereas for Pennar it's 26.4. So to summarize this table, I think Interarch is doing much better compared to Pennar. And now let's come to the next segment and we will see the management guidance. So in the first point, the management has mentioned that the EBITDA margin guidance is more than 10%, and one of the main reason is because the volumes are going to increase and they're going to see operating leverage in the coming future. Then in the second point, they have diversified into non-industrial buildings like airports, hospitals, schools, and even in the new age industries like the data center, semiconductor, in the lithium batteries and the renewable segment. So addition to this data point, Interarch has already made a pre-engineered building in Vashi for one company in the data center segment. Then next, the management has also mentioned that their current inventory days is 68, which is way lower compared to Pennar Industries, which is almost 170. And lastly, their order book has also went up from 1,300 crores to almost 1,700 crores in FY25 August. Then there are some updates. So the first point is the management is aiming to achieve 2,500 crores of capacity by the end of FY27 and FY28. After that, recently they got two new orders. First one is a 90 crore order which is from Rungta Mines, and the second one is the 80 crore order from Ether Energy, which is related in the EV infra project. And lastly, they are going to set up a 24,000 metric ton of steel building unit in the Andhra Pradesh. And next, if you look at their current capacity in different type of states, so they have manufacturing facility in Pantnagar, then Tamil Nadu, then even in Andhra Pradesh, and they're going to increase more in this state. Then afterwards, they're also going to do some in Gujarat, but as of now, they have not mentioned anything yet. And now, let's come to the last segment, which is the technical analysis. So during FY24 August, they came up with an IPO and they got listed at almost 1,200 rupees. Then during Jan FY25, they gave an all-time high of 1,900 rupees. Then afterwards it came down a bit and it gave a good breakout during May 2025. And currently, as we can see over here on the charts, that they have given a good two supports on the last all-time high. So thank you for watching this video. I hope this detailed analysis of Interarch was helpful. I think this company is going to do good in the coming future. What do you guys think? Write down in the comment section and see you in the next video.